Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room, everybody. What's going on? It's Mistress Carrie. I am your host. Welcome to episode 100 and, oh my goodness, what happened to my pictures? Episode 132 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. And can I literally start the show over again? I'm starting the show over again. For anybody that is just tuning in to Cocktails in the War Room, no, I wasn't late. This is take two. This is my mulligan. Welcome to episode 132 of Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Wow. Is this the first take two? Took 132 episodes for me to screw up so bad and get mad at myself that I had to start over again. Anyway, Cocktails in the War Room is our chance to get together every week. And we're basically a support group riding out the pandemic. This all started back on March 14th of 2020. And we have done 132 episodes together, 80 nights in a row through the height of the pandemic before we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast. And we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly show. Hi again, Christine. Hi again, William. Penalty shot, says Will. Who's going to argue double war drums, right? I know, exactly. So welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I don't know what happened, but some of the slides got a little bit screwed up, which is why I was trying to fix them while I was running the intro again, but it didn't quite work out that well. So we may have some technical difficulties tonight. So the first thing I'm going to do is have a cocktail. Thank you for the mulligan, Jeff. Hey, Carrie, did you get the t-shirt yet? Ralph, I got a t-shirt. I don't know if it's from you, but we're going to open it in the mail call, and then you can tell me if it's the right one. Thomas, I 100% agree with you. You just didn't have enough to drink yet. Absolutely. Okay. The first thing I want to do is welcome anybody that is new to Cocktails in the War Room. Obviously, with my radio shows on Westwood One and also on the Pike 100 FM in Worcester, there's definitely some new people that could be joining us in the War Room for the first time. So as I say every week, if you are new to Cocktails in the War Room, please let us know in the comments so that we can all welcome you properly. The people, the community, the family, as they call themselves and as I call them, from Cocktails in the War Room, have been riding things out for 132 episodes, and they are ready, willing, and able to roll out the red carpet for you. So please let us know if you are new to Cocktails in the War Room. If you are, you may be subject to some of the many inside jokes that we have here in the War Room. I suggest you go to mistresscarrie.com, go to my blog. There is a blog post in there called Dictionary, which is basically a glossary of all of the Cocktails in the War Room phrases, and kind of clues you in on the inside jokes so that we're not leaving you out of some of the jokes that we have amongst ourselves. Michael says COVID symptoms include second takes. Well, I am going for shot number 2 tomorrow morning, actually. So bear with me because I'm almost there, just in time for the big holiday weekend. The first thing we need to do, depending on where you are watching the War Room, Every state obviously is different, but Massachusetts announced yesterday that the mask mandate, the social distancing, it all goes away on May 29th. The only place you're going to be required still to wear a mask is on modes of public transportation. So whether they be taxis, Ubers, buses, riding the T, the commuter rail, stuff like that. And also places where the most vulnerable would be, which is inside elderly care facilities and places like hospitals, obviously. Where's the ducking stingray? Joe wants to know. I don't know where Wednesday is right now, and I'm trying to get her in here, but you know how she can be sometimes, the prima donna. For anybody that's new to the War Room, Wednesday is my dog, who has been my co-host and my sidekick and my compatriot for 132 episodes. She gets her own camera and she joins us for every show at some point. Usually it's because I bribe her or you guys bribe her with toys. She also has her own Instagram, which is at Wednesday the Goth Pug on Instagram if you guys want to follow her. So got my second shot today. Devin, how are you feeling? What did you get for a shot, if you don't mind me asking? And how are you feeling? Hello, Jerry. What's going on? I might feel like shit on Thursday, says Mark. That's what I've been preparing for. I've been trying to get ahead. I have so much to talk to you guys about. I've been trying to get ahead on podcast stuff because I have some good news. As many of you guys know, most likely all of you, if you've been in the War Room before, I got married at the end of August. My husband's active duty military, and he has been deployed since September. I've only had a chance to see him once since he left because he was back in the United States and I had to fly to see him. He is back in the United States again. This time he is going to be able to take a few days of leave before he goes back overseas, and I am going to be able to see him. And so my normal routine and schedule is going to be slightly disrupted. And so I'm trying to get a lot of business stuff kind of buttoned up and put away and get some interviews done and whatever so that I can make some time to be able to spend time with my husband, which I'm really excited about. Going for my first shot on Friday, Stephen, here is some of the best advice I was given for shot number 1. Hydrate the morning of, just get yourself good and hydrated. The second thing was have some like ibuprofen or whatever, like at the ready to take after you get the shot. And the third thing, which really worked out for me, actually, Linda, my hairdresser, told me this. Right after you get the shot, start moving your arm right away. You get observed for 15 minutes in case you have an allergic reaction when you get your first or second shot. And so in that 15-minute observation, move your arm a lot. I found that my arm wasn't even sore the next day because I was doing this stuff while I was in the observation area, and the rest of the day I was just moving my arm around like crazy. People were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yep, I'm just moving my arm because I don't want it to hurt tomorrow." And it didn't hurt at all. Mark says, "Give him a big hug from all of us." I will definitely do that. Chicken arm. Exactly. I was like, bark, 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 bark. I was moving it all around. I was doing the Pete Townsend. I was doing all of it. And I didn't have any pain in my arm the next day. I have heard that the second shot is worse than the first. So I have been preparing for it. Same here. It was brutal, says Kelly. Ice packs help, says Jerry. Good for you. Hope you and your husband get some quality time with each other, says David. I'm really excited about it, actually. Christina says, fully vaccinated, bitches. I contracted COVID between my first and second shot, says Mike. Oh, my God. So here in Massachusetts, as of the 29th, venues can be at full capacity. There's no more socially distance requirements. And also the mask mandate is gone. However, private businesses are still allowed to require masks. That's how it works. There are some people that are upset about that, but there have been plenty of Supreme Court cases that have shown that businesses have the right to do what they want, like not bake gay wedding cakes. And when cases like that get settled, there's repercussions. And one of the things, I mean, you know, they make you wear shoes, they make you put a shirt on, you can't smoke in there. I mean, there's definitely some rules that are set by the state, but then there's other rules that are set by the business owner. I'm very curious what, if any, businesses are still going to require masks after the 29th. From what I've been gathering, businesses, especially small businesses, are just chomping at the bit to be able to get people inside, to not have to count, to not have to keep track of who's there, to not have to take people's temperatures. People just want to be able to go back to business as normal. I don't know about the rest of the country. Here in Massachusetts, the vaccination rate is one of the highest in the country. There's over 4 million fully vaccinated people in the Commonwealth already. And positive cases have gone down 89%, which is unbelievable. So here in Massachusetts, things are looking pretty good, and I am hopeful. I'm hopeful because of the way the Bruins have been playing. I'm hopeful because the Woo Sox opened their season at Polar Park in Worcester, who are the minor league team for the Red Sox. I am hopeful because I would really like to go to some baseball games this summer. The news that Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are going to be at Gillette for, I believe it's week 4 of the NFL season. Live music again. Oh, guys, we got shows we got to talk about. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So I'm really excited about the social distancing, the mask mandate, all of that stuff, that bars are going to be able to open, that live music is happening. Monday, or yesterday, I should say, getting that announcement from the governor about all of these things, the restrictions. And there was a question as to whether or not downtown Boston was going to follow suit or whether they were going to hold fast with restrictions within the city limits. They decided not to do that. So everything is opening for business as of May 29th. The governor is also lifting the state of emergency on June 14th, which means that a lot of, I believe, federal aid is going to get cut off after that once the state of emergency goes away as well. I don't know what that means for federal unemployment benefit match, all of that kind of stuff. So you definitely want to check on all of that based on what your specific situation is. But it's really exciting. And for all of us here in the war room, you guys were the first ones that I thought about when the governor made that announcement yesterday. I know that a lot of other states have lessened their restrictions earlier. As we really try to do here in the war room, getting involved with political debates, I have no interest in that. I'm a pretty educated voter. I have my own opinions. One of the things I will say, though, is that a lot of the other states don't have the rates that we have here in Massachusetts. The high vaccination rates and the low infection rates and the incredibly low fatality rates that are here in Massachusetts. And so I am just going to go based on those mathematic equations, statistics, whatever you want to call them. And I'm pretty excited and I'm pretty happy. And because we all rode out COVID together, that the war room started on March 14th of last year, everybody in the war room, we've all been through all of this together. And I feel like the end is near. The light at the end of the tunnel isn't a train. I feel like I can conservatively and optimistically say, guys, we did it. Like, we all stuck together here in the war room. We were here to support each other through really sad times with family members and sad times with layoffs, money problems, family emergencies, the death of loved ones that we weren't able to mourn properly. We have gone through a lot together. We're 132 episodes in on Cocktails in the War Room, and it's been really hard dealing with a lot of personal sadness and tragedy, personal illness, loss, fear, financial stress. Never mind starting it all with the loss of WAAF, which you guys have held my hand through that sadness and talked me through all of it. And the fact that we are now looking ahead to a quote unquote somewhat normal summer and getting back to some semblance of normalcy in our lives, guys, this is what we've been waiting for. These are the happy times, the optimism, the excitement. This is what we've been waiting for. Is it going to take some time to get, quote, back to normal? Yeah. Is it going to take some time for people to financially recover? Absolutely. Is it going to take a long time to mourn the loss of the people that we've lost because of COVID, or the people that we lost not because of COVID, but that we weren't able to celebrate and commemorate that loss and have closure because of COVID? Yeah, all of these things are going to take a long time. But things are getting so much better. And one of the things that we always talk about here in the War Room is the mental toll that this has taken on people. The depression, the addiction, the weight gain, the medical issues that have stemmed from the weight gain, the sadness, the lack of sleeping, the depression, all of those things. We've also ridden all of those things out together. And now is the time for us all to go, you know what? Okay, things are getting better. They're going to be okay. And there's a certain amount of energy that I think we all need to focus on to get ourselves healthy again, to get those extra COVID pounds off, to start having those gatherings, family, friends, to be able to get out, spend time in the sun, walk around, enjoy your life. If there's one lesson that we should really all be taking from everything that's happened, is that tomorrow's not promised. Anything could happen in this life, and we got to enjoy every day. However it is that you enjoy every day, we got to do it. And I know that you guys bring me joy every week. This show brings me happiness, the podcast, the radio shows, everything that have come out of the last 14 months. Focus on that. Let's try not to focus on the things that are bringing us sadness, and do everything we can to focus on what's really good, because there's a lot of really good stuff. So I'm psyched. I'm kind of excited. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to be excited about. Let's see. Michelle says here in Connecticut, people who've been vaccinated can go out without a mask in almost all places. Hell, we can be at Walmart without a mask. Yeah, I mean, these things are happening. It's pretty awesome. Mark says, my depression kicked my ass during all of this. That's what I'm saying. It's not just you. And some people are very quick to go, oh, you know, it's my depression. Or, you know, I look at it like a veteran with post-traumatic stress. A depressive response to what we've been through in the last 14 months is not out of the ordinary. It's a pretty normal response to an extraordinary situation. We're handling something that is once in a lifetime, a once in a century kind of thing. And however it is that you've had to weather that, whatever works for you. And now it's time to go, okay, you know what? We're okay. We got through this, and let's just do whatever we got to do to support each other moving forward. But focus on the healthy things that you've been able to find, the new hobbies, the new animals that you may have adopted, newfound friends. Focus on all the COVID babies that are coming, because there's a lot of them. People have been busy. There's a lot of really good stuff to focus on. So, you know, I look at you guys as such a support structure, and I look at everything that we've all been through together. And I'm like, you know what? We're not completely out of the woods yet, but I can see the end of the tree line. Like, I can see it. And the fact that so many shows are getting announced and people are starting to talk about, you know, being able to hug their loved ones and visit their grandparents. And it's just awesome. I'm just super, super excited. I know people have been having a hard time. Things haven't been easy for me a lot of times either. And it's okay to want to focus on yourself now and really do some things that are just going to make you happy, because we're allowed to do that now. One of the things that's making people happy, and I wanted to show you guys this, Brianna and Andre, Tom, Ron, Monica, a whole group of people from the War Room are continuing to do volunteer work, even though it wasn't like an organized volunteer day. And they went back down to Mass Military Support Foundation's Foxborough terminal yesterday and had a volunteer day amongst themselves, because the volunteer days have been difficult to coordinate, especially now with my new schedule. Doing things during the week is going to be tough for me because I'm on the air every afternoon. But I wanted to show you guys that they repped the War Room family. Brianna sent me a beautiful email listing all of the things that they did yesterday, how they're meeting new people on these volunteer days. And who else is naked right now, says Mohawk. And I just wanted to thank them for representing us in such a positive light and continuing to grow with this newfound family that we've all made in the last 14 months. And so I just wanted to say, way to go, guys. I know what the volunteer efforts mean to Mass Military Support Foundation and the Food for Vets program. And I just think it's really, really cool. And so way to go, guys. It's awesome. You guys are amazing. There's more volunteer days coming. Obviously, the more the world opens back up again, the more events that we're going to be able to plan, the more charity work we're going to be able to do. This is just the start. Obviously, I'm still getting used to my new schedule, the new radio shows, and all of the other things that are going on right now. Maintaining the War Room, the website, the store, the podcast, obviously. You guys got to be patient with me. I've only been back on the air for a few weeks. It's a pretty breakneck schedule for me during the day when the radio shows are going. But I am continuing to move things forward. I was trying to set up a bunch of podcast interviews today. And obviously, with the way that the concerts are getting announced now, I mean, it's crazy how busy things are getting. So I wanted to say, way to go, you guys. You guys are awesome. I know you guys organize on the in the private group and obviously in the comments here. So, you know, I just think it's great. I would just, not for you guys, but just anybody that has the idea of doing this kind of stuff moving forward. Obviously, when you go out and you got your War Room stuff on and you're organizing in groups, just make sure you're following this example and that you guys are positive and you are representing all of us well. Because obviously we got a reputation to uphold now that we can go out in the world again. So lots to talk about, lots of stuff to be excited about. And I'm just super stoked. Things are just awesome. All right, we got to recap the podcast. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. So episode 49 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, features Diamante, who just released her second album. It's called American Dream last Friday. And she's really interesting. She's young. She's from Boston. She's got this great metal voice. She's got these pop sensibilities, but she is rock to the core. And it was really cool getting to know her on episode 49 of the podcast. One of the things that I'm trying to do is to expose you guys to new artists, to expose you guys to artists that come from the greater Boston area, as much as I'm keeping you guys in touch with the artists that you know and love. So episode 49 came out last Wednesday. And then a little bonus episode of the podcast came out a day later. When you subscribe to the podcast, you're not just getting the weekly episodes that come out, which you get a new episode every Wednesday right at midnight. But there's a lot of bonus content coming, guys. What's happening now, because so many of the bands are announcing tours and there's so much going on with new albums, is that I am going to have access to artists not only for the longer full-length episodes, but in shorter increments. And the shorter interviews, like I did with Amy Lee from Evanescence and Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm last Thursday, is put those shorter episodes up as bonus episodes of the podcast. Because I want them to be easier to kind of keep tabs on and keep everything straight. And there are going to be a lot of bonus episodes, plus the sit reps, plus when we have guests in the War Room, we're going to have after action reports. The podcast is going to get busy. There is a lot going on. So I hope you guys loved meeting Diamante. Brianna says she's a great example of a strong female empowering through rock. Absolutely. I loved how she talked about deciding to finish her college degree and going back to school during the lockdown, because she's like, I was just at home, I was writing music, and I was like, you know what? I want to finish my degree and I'm going to get it done. And that's what she did. So, hi, Nugget. Come here. Hey, come here. What's Mommy got? Hey. You guys want to see Wednesday? Where is she? Hey, Wednesday, what's this? It's up here. You want a cookie? No, over here. Hey, come here. Wednesday, come over here. I got a cookie for you. Can you sit down for me, please? Thank you. Can I have a paw? Hi. Can I have the other paw? Can you get down? Down. Down. Good girl. Can you sit? High five. Wait, go back so everybody can see you do your tricks. Sit. High five. Okay, fine. You can have your cookie. What a good girl you are. So if you're new to the War Room, this is Wednesday. If you're not new to the War Room, there she is, the diva herself. Are you having some more cookie? Are you being a good girl? She has been so lovey lately. Watch how she watches the cookie. Watch. Watch. Huh? Look at over here. Say hi to everybody. Hi. I'm not staring at the camera. I'm staring at the cookie that Mommy's teasing me with. Hi. Hey, don't you? High five. Can I have your paw? Thank you. Can I have the other paw? Okay, get down. Good girl. Nope. Back up. Down. Down. Good girl. There she is. There's Oliver. Donna, Wednesday, Donna says hi. Star of the day, exactly. Too damn cute, says Jeff. Hey, Wednesday, says Melissa. She misses her mama. I know. Come here. Oh, now she doesn't want me to pick her up. Come here. Do you want this? Wednesday. Here, I'm going to put your dinosaur right here. If you don't want to be on the show, the dinosaur will be on the show. It's okay. She's like, that's the only cookie you have? Otherwise, I'm taking off. I'm out of here, Ma. Come here. Okay. You can just sit. It's okay. So there she is. There's Wednesday. You can follow her at Wednesday the Goth Pug on Instagram. So I loved, if you guys listen to the Diamante episode yet, if you haven't yet, I just thought she was really cool. It was really nice getting to know her. Haven't heard the bonus episode yet, says Joe. Like I said, these bonus episodes are going to be shorter. Sometimes the artists only have short little windows because they have a big announcement and they have a huge press junket to do. But if I can get access to them, even for a short amount of time, I'm going to do the interviews. I just am going to put them up as a bonus episode of the podcast. So I will tell you that there's another bonus episode coming this week. So first, let's talk about who's going to be on the podcast this week. This week's episode of the podcast, episode number 50. His name is Jack Underkoffler. I had to ask him in the interview how to pronounce it so that I didn't mispronounce it because I didn't want to do that. He's the lead singer from Dead Poets Society. You may have heard about them because they are a band that formed at Berklee College of Music in Boston. Their new album is called Dash! It's actually just the punctuation. I scolded him for making it hard for radio DJs to talk about. So episode 50, which goes live at midnight tonight, is Jack Underkoffler from Dead Poets Society, who I had never met before. And he was born in Boston. He moved to Virginia when he was, I believe, 7 or 8, and then moved back to Boston to go to college at Berklee, where he joined the band Dead Poets Society. He tells the whole story in the podcast. It's a great story, actually. You guys, I think, are going to love him. We were talking about whether or not he can call himself a Bostonian. And he was like, well, I moved away. My formative years were in Virginia. And then you listen to him talk for 5 minutes and you're like, oh no, dude, I hate to tell you, but you're Boston to the core. Smart ass, sarcastic, dropping F-bombs. I had never met him before. And if you are a lover of bands like Royal Blood and Cleopatra and Bad Flower. Bands like that. I think you're going to love this band. He was so fun. And I never met him before. And now that I met him and we talked, I just think he's awesome. I can't wait to meet him in person. We had a really great conversation. Even if you don't know some of these new artists, I really try to make the artists approachable. And I really try to talk about other things so that you don't even have to be a fan of their music to enjoy the podcast episode. And I think you guys are going to love this episode. So Jack Underkoffler from Dead Poets Society is the guest on episode 50 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Digital Federal Credit Union, who is hiring. They have full and part-time positions available in Massachusetts and New Hampshire in their branch locations. And if you go to dcu.org/careers, you can find out what positions they are hiring for. So if you're looking to start a new career or if you're looking for a new opportunity, check out dcu.org/careers and get the information. But once again, this episode of the podcast is sponsored by DCU. So we want to thank them for their support. I will also tell you a bonus episode of the podcast is coming, I'm hoping tomorrow. And that is going to be Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. So like I said, there are some awesome episodes of the podcast coming, both full-length weekly episodes and bonus episodes as well. Thomas says, I'm on vacation, plan to listen to it tomorrow. Let's see. Crossfire Hurricane. She is so spoiled by us. Yeah, I know. You guys do spoil Wednesday. It's insane. Let's see. Haven't listened to any of these bands, but we'll definitely check out their music. One of the reasons why when I launched the podcast, I started propagating playlists, and I link those playlists in the show notes of every podcast episode, because I wanted to make it easy to turn you guys on to this music. And these playlists are not just songs from the artist that I'm talking to, but as we talk about music and we talk about influences and we talk about songwriting and we talk about tour stories, we're talking about a lot of other music as well. Music that inspired them growing up. Jack, for instance, in episode 50, talks about the early musical influences that his parents kind of handed down to him. And they were very old school in the music that they exposed him to. And he talked about the exposure of the rock music that he started to learn about and where those musical influences came from. And so these playlists are meant to kind of show you who these artists are, who inspired these artists, and that if you hear us talking about an artist that you've never heard of before, you know you can go into these playlists and find songs from those artists. So, if you've never heard of Dead Poets Society before, you're going to be able to go into the corresponding playlist of episode 50, and you're going to be able to check it out. What's up, Hannah? I love you too. Should be a good podcast. Eric, it's a great podcast. You're talking about Billy Gibbons. So there's going to be a bonus episode coming before the end of the week. Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, who's got his new solo album coming out called Hardware. I can't wait to talk to him. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening with the podcast, both the full length episodes and, the bonus episodes as well. I will tell you, I'm going to give you a little hint about next week's episode, that it is, going to, reflect, obviously it's Military Appreciation Month, but next week's episode will be leading into Memorial Day. And so I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit for that week. And I think you guys are going to love next week's episode as well. I already recorded it. I haven't produced it yet, but I'm really excited for you guys to hear episode 51 as well. We'll talk more about that next week. But episode 50, I think you guys are going to love it. Jack Underkoffler from Dead Poets Society. Now, when you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you get the full weekly episodes, the numbered episodes. Then you get the sit rep, which is the situation report. It comes out every weekday. It downloads first thing in the morning. You get caught up on all your rock news, music headlines, and industry info, everything you need to know, but you get it in under 5 minutes, and it goes straight to the podcast on top of the numbered episodes, the bonus episodes, the after action reports. And the sit rep is sponsored by the Maine Hair Lounge. And I really try to do everything I can to keep you guys informed so that you can listen to the sit rep and go, okay, I'm caught up. It took me 5 minutes while I was sitting in the drive-thru to get my coffee in the morning, and now I know exactly what's going on. So there you go. Now, if you're looking for the podcast, here is just some of the places that you can find it. You can always just go to mistresscarrie.com. Everything about the podcast, Cocktails in the War Room, it's all up on the website. But here are just some of the other places that you can subscribe to the podcast, including obviously Apple, Google, Spotify, radio.com, which is now Odyssey. Actually, I need to fix that. iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, Overcast, TuneIn, Player FM, Podbean, Downcast, Beyond Pod, Podcast Republic, Castbox, Pod Cruncher, Bullhorn, Podkicker, Pandora, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Amazon, and then our friends in India, they're still going strong, JioSaavn and Ghana, among some of the other podcast outlets that are out there, and the Mistress Carrie podcast, part of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Now, the locations. We are still at 102 countries and holding strong. And for another week, the Netherlands is the number 2 listening country of the Mistress Carrie podcast, behind the United States for obvious reasons. And I just think it's crazy. I don't know what's going on in the Netherlands, but if any of you guys are joining us here in the War Room tonight, you guys fucking rock. I don't know if you understand English. I hope that you do, but you guys are amazing. Obviously you do if you're listening to the fucking podcast. Pretty awesome. Let's talk about some music headlines because there's a lot of stuff to get through. New albums come out on Fridays, and there's some great new records coming out this Friday. Aaron Jones, his debut album, Child of the State, comes out on Friday. He, I believe, was the guest on episode 23 of the podcast. Get to know him. He is a name you are going to hear a lot this year. He is a rising star in rock and roll. You heard him on the podcast first. I told you I wanted to be able to turn you on to new artists. Aaron Jones is going to be an artist that everybody is going to jump on this year, and you're going to know, well, I heard him on the Mistress Carrie podcast before. But his new album is coming out on Friday. There's new Monster Magnet coming out on Friday. Pop Evil's new album, Versatile, is coming out on Friday, and also the new 21 Pilots. So there's a lot of really good music that's coming out this Friday, and a lot of great records coming in the coming weeks as well. So we've been waiting for 14 or 15 months. We've been talking about, I can't wait until the world opens back up. I can't wait till the bands start releasing these new albums. I can't wait till the bands go on tour. It's all happening, guys. Seriously. Some of the things that you need to know about. Speaking of 21 Pilots, they're releasing their new album on Friday. They have a live stream experience happening on Friday as well. All of these concert dates, all of this information is all up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com, as well as the links for the live streams. So 21 Pilots live stream is on Friday. The Bon Jovi drive-in tour is on Saturday. Now, in Massachusetts, one of the many places that you can see it is the Mendon drive-in. And Mike Shue, all this week on the Pike, is giving away passes to go to the Bon Jovi drive-in experience, which is this Saturday night. Big announcement at the end of last week, Evanescence and Hailstorm, co-headlining tour. That is why the bonus episode of the podcast is there. They are finishing their tour at the DCU Center on December 18th. And tickets are on sale right now. You got to go and listen to the bonus episode of the podcast because we talked about them finishing their tour at the DCU Center. I have some party responsibilities that Amy Lee and Lizzie will tell you about in that podcast episode. So make sure you go back and listen to that. Def Leppard and Motley Crue announced that they have postponed their stadium tour until 2022. And here's why. They announced the stadium tour with Poison and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Obviously, it went on sale. It was supposed to happen in the summer of 2020. They postponed it to 2021. a lot of the states and a lot of the stadiums that had already put the shows on sale were not going to be able to meet the attendance and socially distanced requirements that were still in place when a lot of these bands were making the tour decisions. And they sold so many tickets for this tour that the only way to be able to accommodate all of the tour dates they already put on sale and to be able to let everyone that already bought tickets in was to push the stadium tour back to 2022, which they did. So the 2 dates at Fenway Park have already been rescheduled for August of next year. The rescheduled dates and all of the information are on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Some of the other shows that are coming that have been announced, dates have been set locally. Obviously, if you are not in Massachusetts and you are hanging out with us in the War Room, all of these tours are coming to a place near you. Korn and Stained announced a tour together. The date locally in Massachusetts is August 21st at the Xfinity Center. The Deftones rescheduled their tour. The date locally at the Agganis Arena is August 23rd. The Black Crowes rescheduled the 30th anniversary of the Shake Your Moneymaker album, and that show is going to be at the Xfinity Center on September 15th. They announced this week that direct support, the opening band for the Black Crowes, is Dirty Fucking Honey, another band we have been championing here in Massachusetts on WAAF before WAAF went off the air and continuing on the podcast. And of course, here in the War Room, I could not be more proud and excited for Dirty Honey getting the Black Crowes opening gig on that tour. I think it's a huge opportunity for them. Cannot wait. Alice Cooper announced his tour with Ace Frehley, who is opening up for him September 21st. That's happening at the Pavilion in Boston, the Leader Bank Pavilion in Boston. They keep changing the name of the venue, but it's the Pavilion in Boston. In this moment, and the Black Veil Brides rescheduled their tour dates. They are going to be at the Palladium on November 7th. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I am doing everything I can to keep the events calendar on mistresscarrie.com up to date. Obviously, if there's stuff that's missing, please feel free to let me know. There is a contact us thing on the website, and you can send me a direct message. Matter of fact, Brianna brought this up to me because between Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and the website and just everything that is going on, there's a lot of ways to kind of get a hold of me. And I feel bad if you try to reach out to me and I don't respond. A lot of the time, it's just because I didn't even get the message. The best way, if you need to get a hold of me for something directly, is to go to the contact us part of mistresscarrie.com. And I'm going to be able to respond as quickly as possible. There are a lot of people, I've been getting a lot of messages. A lot of people are trying to put charity events together. They're trying to put club shows together for bands. I've been getting a ton of people reaching out to me. And the only thing I can tell you is that the industry is scrambling right now. I have never seen the entertainment industry as busy, as frazzled. Live Nation said, I believe it was last week, that there are twice as many shows scheduled for 2022 as there were in 2019 pre-pandemic. The next couple of years for artists are going to be insane. And everybody's got to remember that, you know, when it comes to charity events and stuff, bands are usually pretty generous when it comes to, you know, volunteering stuff for, you know, charitable events, you know, bands donating their time, all of that stuff. Even local cover bands, every single entertainer, anyone that is attached to the gig economy, their livelihoods have been shattered by what's gone on. There are a lot of people that have not been affected a lot. There's a lot of people in construction, obviously healthcare workers, first responders. You've been working more, not less. The people in the gig economy, people that have bars, restaurants, bartenders, obviously musical artists, and anybody associated with those musicians, the crews, everybody, they are trying desperately to make up the losses, especially the artists. They need to get back out on the road because they need to get their crews getting paid again. We heard from Brad Arnold from Three Doors Down, not only on the podcast, but here in the War Room, that they were donating their royalty checks just to try and keep their crew above water. All I can say is I know everybody's chomping at the bit to get charity events scheduled and to try and reach out to artists and get donations for things. I'm just going to tell you to be patient. Be patient with me, be patient with artists, because literally the floodgates just opened and these bands are getting requested for a lot of things. And their priority right now is providing for their families and the families of their crew. They need to get these guys back out on the road and they got to start making money again. I can't tell you the techs that I know, the roadies that I know, they have just been devastated. They have tried so hard to stay employed. What they do is very specialized. They are tradesmen. There's not a lot of people that can do what they can do. And when you can't have concerts, there really wasn't a lot that some of these people couldn't do. I mean, we talked about Josh Todd from Buckcherry in the podcast. He went and became a licensed phlebotomist because he was worried that Buckcherry wasn't going to be able to get out on the road for a long time and he had to be able to provide for his family. So just be patient and just know that, yes, Megadeth, Lamb of God at the Pavilion. I believe that show is also up on the events calendar. I'm sorry I didn't put it on this list. Just be patient if you guys are trying to schedule volunteer stuff, charity events, anything, especially if it's got anything to do with bands. Even the local cover bands, you know, there are people, this is what they do full time, and they have not been able to work. And they are behind in their bills and trying to climb back out of the hole that they are in because of COVID. So, Christina says, is your sister here tonight? Yeah, she is. She's somewhere. I don't know where she is, but it's been really nice. My sister works in healthcare and I haven't been able to spend a lot of time with her because of what she does for a living. And, you know, she's vaccinated. My mom is vaccinated. Now that the family is all vaccinated, it's been really nice to be able to spend some time together and eat dinners together and sit around the bonfire pit together. It's been amazing. Yes, he's a licensed vampire now, Thomas. Exactly. Thank you, Donna. Be well. Good night. So there's just a lot going on, guys. So all I can say is just be patient, especially with the bands, and with the venues. There are a lot of events that I would love to schedule for all of us. I would love to have live cocktail in the War Room parties. Trust me, this stuff is going to happen. The thing is that the venues' phones are ringing off the hook. They are scrambling to get staff, trying to get their cooking staff back, their chefs back, their waiters back, the busboys back. These people scattered like the wind and had to be able to find jobs. And it's been really hard maintaining a staff when you're a restaurant or a bar owner. And so the recovery for the gig economy is going to be slower than some of the other places because they got to get the staff back. They got to be able to get their supply chain back to be able to fully stock their refrigerators and be able to cook everything that's on their menus. I mean, there's a lot going on, but it's all really good and really exciting. Okay. One of my favorite parts of the show every week is mail call. And you guys are so generous. You don't have to send me anything, but you guys know that I absolutely love and appreciate the things that you guys send me. And she hears mail call. I'm not even kidding. Look at this. She knows and she comes running. You know it's mail call, right, Wednesday? Yeah. And then she automatically comes over and starts smelling the table because she thinks there's stuff for her. What a spoiled brat. Hey, Wednesday. So I got this, and I am assuming it's the t-shirt we were referring to earlier. There wasn't a card or a label in here, but hold on. Let me check this shirt out. How cool is this All That Remains shirt? Like, how obnoxiously Boston is this shirt? It's so fucking good. So good. I love it. So there was no card. The only thing that it says is downright merch, unknown warehouse. That's what it says. So thank you guys. I wasn't sure if it came from the merch company and or if it came from the band. I wasn't really sure, but it's fucking awesome. So I'm so excited. Thank you. Yeah, Richard, it kind of is full of a lot of stuff. It's kind of crazy. Then the other thing that I got, which is amazing because it's handmade. So I got this card. Friggin' hilarious. I think I need to get a second cork board for MCHQ. For the backstage pass holders, you guys have seen the whole tour of MCHQ. There's a cork board where all your mail goes. So when you guys send me cards and letters, all the stuff that you send me, it's tacked onto a giant cork board on the wall on MCHQ, and it's pretty full from the last 14 months. In case you couldn't tell, everyone's pretty happy for you. It's friggin' awesome. It says, Mistress Carrie, congratulations. We're so happy for you. By the way, Rich made you this cutting board. Enjoy from Carol, Rich, and Max too. So they sent me coffee, which you guys are thebomb.com. Thank you so much. But check this out. Oh, God. God. I just smashed the computer. Check out this cutting board. It's unbelievable. Look at the work. It's so cool. And it's amazing. I'm going to oil the hell out of it and I'm going to use it. It's awesome. It's like a weapon though. It's really heavy. But it's amazing. I love it. So it's heavy and I just smashed the computer. It seems to be working okay. So thank you guys. What did I do? There we go. So thank you for the mail. The congratulations, I'm assuming, is for the radio shows, which I got to tell you guys, the coffee intake is high. It is high. Every Tuesday, I check the mail and I get my beloved iced coffee, which just tastes so good. And one of the things that I really tried not to do during the lockdown was I tried not to leave the house for like a frivolous reason, as you guys are very well aware. But if I had to go to the post office, if I had to do other errands, I would try to put all of my errands in one. And so I'm leaving the house as little as possible. Now that things are starting to loosen up, I may allow myself to get more iced coffees because as much as I enjoy the coffee I make at home, which has been great, I'm kind of grooving on being able to go get iced coffee anytime I want. Seriously. So thank you guys for all of the surprises. I look forward to checking the mail all the time. And everybody at the post office says hi. They are always really curious, especially like the cutting board. They were like, Mistress Carrie, this is really heavy. What's in here? And I was like, I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. So everybody at the post office always tells me to tell you guys that they said hello, which I love. Mineral oil already did red oak. Oh, cool. Okay. Thanks, Carol. I have a big wood block that was my grandfather's, and it's really, really old and really, really heavy. It's like, I don't know, it's like 400 pounds. It's like a freestanding chopping block that I have in my kitchen. And I take care of that and oil that as well. So I will put this cutting board on the maintenance schedule with the wood block as well. He loves that stuff. I think people that are woodworkers, people that can actually make things, craftsmanship, I just have such an appreciation for that because it's really not something I'm good at, but I love the fact that people have the ability to kind of make something from nothing. I just think that's so cool. That's some thick wood. Hey, how you doing? Oh, wait till you see what's coming next. Oh my God, David, seriously. You know what I forgot to do, David? I'm really sorry. I have to take an updated photo of the Pez collection. I will show that to you guys next week in the War Room. I got to show you guys an updated Pez collection picture because it's crazy. Carrie's got wood. Yes, I do, Marcy. Thank you. Do you have a cast iron pan? I do. And you know what's crazy is that I got some family cast iron pans and I never knew how to take care of them. And one of the things that has come out of COVID is my appreciation for TikTok. I know I don't put a lot of TikTok videos up, but I am going to start doing more TikTok stuff. Especially, I found out today, people are starting to make TikTok videos from my old videos. Somebody sent me a TikTok video today of part of my interview from Slipknot from 1999 at Loco Bazooka. And I got to start doing what Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach did and start making duet videos and looking at the videos that people are making of me on TikTok because it's friggin' hilarious. But one of the things that I have learned is that there's a lot of information to be had on TikTok. And I learned how to season a cast iron pan on TikTok. I never knew how to do that before. I hadn't really used the cast iron pans because I was really afraid to screw them up. And I learned how to season it and how to take care of the cast iron pans on TikTok. So there is a lot to be learned. You know what else I learned? There's a few people that I follow, totally nerdy too. I follow somebody that does Excel spreadsheet hacks on TikTok and shows you all the little shortcuts. That stuff is fascinating because I'm a super Excel spreadsheet nerd now because of the podcast and the company and all of that stuff. I follow somebody that does like iPhone hacks and shows you all the little hidden things that your iPhone does. And then I follow somebody else that does these TikToks on these amazing websites, like powerful websites that are great for reference and stuff. And I follow these people on TikTok and it's really cool. Let's see. Pez, AKA your retirement plan. Jonathan, I wish a lot of the Pez that I had were worth anything. They just make me happy. And I've been collecting them for as long as I can remember. Back to my childhood, I always loved Pez dispensers. And some of them are really old. Sully from Godsmack kind of rekindled my love. He and I had talked about it one time about how I used to collect Pez when I was a kid. This was like a long time ago. And then one day at the radio station, I get this miscellaneous package from Sully. And it was a bunch of Pez dispensers because he and I had talked about it one night at a show. And it kind of kickstarted me into collecting them all over again and kind of organizing my collection and putting them in a case and putting them somewhere where I can enjoy them. So Heidi says, yes, those cast iron pans are the best to cook with. And yes, cooking videos on TikTok. Seriously, it's unbelievable. Did you see the wine glass trick with the dishwasher? No, I did not. I love using cast iron pans, says Tracy. Cast iron pans are the best, says Eric. Excel, I really need to learn. Heidi, there are people on TikTok that do Excel spreadsheet TikTok videos, and they spell it out for you, how to write the code, how to build the columns, all the different things you can do. You know what? TikTok is something positive that came out of COVID. Cocktails in the War Room, something positive that came out of COVID. I love TikTok. I didn't know about it until before COVID, and now I'm addicted. My husband and I send each other TikTok videos all the time. It's a way it's like a love language now. It's really weird, but he sends me TikTok videos all the time. Let's see. Yes, post it up, Heidi, for sure. Or email it to me through the website so I can have the link. Good evening, Joe. Nice to have you join us. All cast iron all the time, says Jennifer. So much safer than Teflon too. Totally agree. It's just if you don't know a lot about cast iron pans, it can be intimidating because you can't just throw it in the dishwasher. How to season it, how to clean them. They're amazing once you learn how to use them, but you got to learn how to use them first. And I did that on TikTok. Did you see the trailer for the new Hotel Transylvania? Oh, I did, Michelle. It looks awesome. Matter of fact, there's a lot of, I feel like I've been talking a lot about documentaries too, that there's a lot of amazing documentaries that are coming out. TikTok and you don't stop, Eric says. Yeah, exactly. Cheers. I need a drink. Sorry. Ralph, are you the one that sent me the t-shirt? You didn't put a card in it, so I didn't know if you sent it or not. It's fucking awesome, dude. I love it. Thank you. You can use it to learn a lot. It's not just oddly dancing children. No, listen, there's plenty of people making dancing kid videos. There's a lot of adult themed content on TikTok as well. There's a lot of really funny married people out there. Now that I'm a married person, I appreciate some of the married humor. And I love the bands that are doing things like Jacoby Shaddix does a lot of great stuff on TikTok. He's kind of my TikTok inspiration. Why isn't your new radio station available in Maine? It is available, pikefm.com. You can stream the station there. There is a station that carries my Westwood One show called The Planet in northern New Hampshire. So, Joe, I don't know if you can get that one or not. Hi, Frank. Did you see the new Skywalker Ranch season 2? It's epic on Discovery. I have not seen it yet, but I will check it out for sure. You can listen on iHeartRadio, says Melissa. So let me tell you guys this about radio. It hit a milestone today, or this week, I should say. It might have hit the milestone yesterday. 10% of all radio listening is now done on the internet now, which is a huge milestone for radio. Obviously, still 90% of people are listening on the radio itself, but now 10% of radio listening is done either through an app or a website, which is unbelievable. It seems like a small amount, but because radios are so readily available and they're in your car and that radio listening is a habit that people have had for decades, thankfully. I mean, I was on the air for 22 years at AAF. AAF was on the air for 50 years. The fact that radio has gotten to the point where 10% of its listenership is now online, that number is only going to go up. And so you can listen to the Pike on iHeart. You can listen. If you guys go searching, you can find amazing stuff. The Pike also has an app. That's where I listen, says George. There's plenty of ways to listen, Joe. So you can be all the way up in Maine. You can be on vacation. You can be on a beach in Hawaii. You can be on your motorcycle, streaming the radio station in your earphones. You can do a lot of stuff. They have those Bluetooth motorcycle helmets now that you can just Bluetooth connect it to your phone and you can just stream while you're riding, which is amazing. Fast and Furious 5 is coming out next week, I think. That's going to be interesting to see John Cena in a movie with Vin Diesel. So happy to hear you. And having to go on a station again, 100.1 is now a preset on my truck. Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Have been listening in Sedona, Arizona on iHeart. You guys are the best. You really are. It's been really weird saying other radio station call letters and frequencies. It's been, now that the world is opening up, let me talk to you guys about this for a second. Now that the world is opening back up, I'm going to experience something I haven't had to experience yet. An open world without WAAF. I mean, think about it. AAF went off the air and within a couple of weeks, the world was locked down. I have not been able to go to a concert since WAAF went off the air, other than the last show that I went to, which was Bush in Vegas. I haven't been able to go to a concert locally. I haven't been able to meet like big crowds of I haven't been able to mourn WAAF publicly. The big gig got postponed until April of next year. Like, it's really weird to think that I haven't been able to go to big giant concerts and gatherings and mourn the loss of WAAF with the bands in person, with the listeners in person, with you guys. When people talk about the world getting back to normal, I don't get to go back to normal. Mike Shue doesn't get to go back to normal. Danielle, Stiz, everybody that was there, none of us get to go back to normal because I don't know what my normal is yet. My new normal in MCHQ, being on the radio, the podcast, being here in the war room with you guys, the new normal on mistresscarrie.com. But going into a wide open world without AAF, I haven't been able to do that yet. It's going to bring up a lot of emotions. getting the overwhelming wave of love from the rock community in person is going to be weird because we haven't been able to mourn WAAF in a mass public way. Jonathan, I have not changed my preset. I've added the Pike. I have not removed the old WAAF preset in my car. I cannot. I think that is going to be something that when I get a new car will go away. I cannot bring myself to delete that preset button out of my car yet. I know it's ridiculous because I haven't been able to push the button either. Obviously, I'm not listening to that piece of shit station. But I haven't been able to get rid of the preset yet. William says, is your husband going to be in the war room? I don't think my husband has any desire to be in the public eye. I don't think that it's anything. I mean, he's not involved with the music business at all. He's a proud active duty member of the military. I think he likes having his life on the DL. I think he is very proud of me and proud of my career, but I don't think it's anything that he has any interest in. Maybe someday when he retires, he'll have some interest in something. Maybe he'll start a business or something and we'll be able to work on something together. I don't know, but I just don't see him or any member of the military wanting to have any kind of public persona, especially while they're still serving. I just don't see that. Are you and Mike going to go rock the dock? Listen, at the boat, you mean, Chris? Listen, we had an absolute blast, and that was with COVID restrictions. I welcome, and I'll put this out there, if you own a bar or a restaurant, if you own a club, if you know anybody that does, if you are at all interested in hosting cocktails in the war room in your bar or restaurant, I am 100% interested in taking the war room on deployment more often. And you should reach out to me through the contact us section of mistresscarrie.com. Obviously, as things open up, the way I survive with my company is through advertising. And so obviously, if there are alcohol brands that want to do business with me, if there are restaurants, bars, clubs, places that want to have us come out and are going to welcome the Cocktails in the War Room family, fucking A right, let's do it, guys. Just talk to the station owners at the Pike and have them request the call letters for WA. It's not that easy, George, actually. Call letters are registered through the FCC, and my old company still retains ownership of the intellectual property of WAF and the call letters. They just moved them. There's no other rock station with WAF's call letters, but they still retain ownership of it. The way the preset stations will get deleted, having to change out a car battery. Well, there you go. So if I have to change a car battery or if I just get a new car, the preset will probably be gone. But I have not been able to bring myself to changing the preset yet. I couldn't get AAF on my radio, so I never had to go through that. Well, there you go, Brianna. See, you could listen on the app or whatever. But I've been listening to Sports Talk now with you and Schuback on. I'm back to the Pike. Well, that's awesome, Michael. Thank you. My hairband CD collection just hit 2,000. That's impressive, Ralph. Congratulations. So there's a lot going on. And for as excited I am for the world to open back up, I thought about that yesterday when they made the announcement that I was like, oh my God, going to my first concert and seeing all the AAF fans in person is going to be overwhelming and emotional for me, I think. Even though I've had all this time to kind of get used to it, we haven't been able to get together with you guys. I mean, obviously now that I'm back on the radio, I'm getting a lot of texts at the station and that kind of stuff, but doing it in person, being able to hug people, it's been a long time and I look forward to it. Lenny Clark, June 10th at the Boat. I know the Boat's doing comedy stuff, which is awesome. Let's see. Marcy says, My oldest son's father's cell number, who's been passed away for 70 years. Yeah, I have a lot of phone numbers saved in my phone, including most recently my friend Mike. I can't bring myself to delete the phone number. I just can't do it. Your hair is on point tonight. Well, thank you very much. I did figure out that last week I was having some hair issues. And it's because I literally am fucking wearing headphones like all day, every day now. It's so weird. You should do a podcast with Lenny Clark. Joe, I already did. He was on the podcast already. Go back through the old episodes. What episode was Lenny Clark? I'm trying to remember what number episode he is. But he's already been on. He was fun, too. Trying to get him to connect so I could see him because he's not very proficient on the interwebs. Joe, you got to go back and listen to it. But Lenny Clark is on the podcast already. We already did it. Because how could I not have Lenny Clark on the podcast during a fucking pandemic? Of course. So, yeah, thank you, Linda, for making the hair on point. I can't wait to be able to go and get my hair done and not have to wear a mask. I've known Linda for so many years, and I want to just talk to her and gossip like you do when you go to get your hair done, and wearing the mask has been. Because I can't sip my iced coffee while I'm getting my hair done. It's like you got to lift up the mask, and it's made drinking iced coffee incredibly difficult. Being able to hug someone in the War Room family that I've met in the last year has been one of the highlights of my year. Dave, I get it. Totally get it. You should do cocktails in the War Room from the parking lot of Great Woods. Oh my God. Can you guys imagine doing cocktails in the War Room? It's the Xfinity Center, even though it's going to always be Great Woods to us. I would love to get Dennis Leary, Marcy. I would absolutely love to get Dennis Leary on Cocktails in the War Room or on the podcast or both. Trina says, I hate wearing a mask when I'm getting my hair done. Yeah, it's awful. All right, let's celebrate some birthdays, guys. Birthdays. If you were born today and you're celebrating your birthday today, you share your birthday with Perry Como, George Strait, and Jack Johnson. So it's a little bit of a diverse musical gathering. So happy birthday for anybody that was born on the 18th day of May. Fantastic. I want to say what's up to everybody that has Mistress Carrie backstage passes. You can get them on Patreon. There's a link on mistresscarrie.com, or you can just go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. One of the things that I started doing for the backstage pass holders is they get tipped off on who I'm going to be interviewing for the podcast before I do the interviews. And I've been asking backstage pass holders to send me some of the questions that they want to ask, which has been really cool. So you get to do that. We do an exclusive live stream every month for the backstage pass holders. You guys know that because of the holiday weekend ending, we've been doing these live streams usually like on the Sunday night at the end of the month. Because it's Memorial Day weekend, I'm pretty sure I'm going to push May's live stream off into June, just because I don't want to disrupt your holiday weekend. You also get discounted merch codes. If you have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, there's also a direct way to communicate with me directly. You can send me private messages on there. And it's just a really cool way. You get exclusive pictures, blog posts. There's just a lot of extra content. So if you look forward to Cocktails in the War Room every week, if you listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast and you're just looking to hear from me more and with a smaller group and to be able to do smaller live streams, then get a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, which are available on Patreon. There are also a ton of other places on social media that you can get a hold of me. Of course, the aforementioned TikTok, Twitter at Mistress Carrie, Instagram and Facebook. Obviously, if you're joining me here in the War Room, Mistress Carrie WAAF. And then Cameo. I love making Cameo videos for people, whether it be birthdays, anniversaries, retirements, graduations, Mother's Day, Father's Day, especially with the graduation season now. There's just a lot of reasons to celebrate people's barbecues, birthdays, whatever it is. If you're looking for a gift for somebody that is a rock fan, I'll make a Cameo video for them. And obviously the YouTube channel, which is where all of the episodes of Cocktails in the War Room go. I am hoping to be able to expand the YouTube channel eventually to be able to release videos of the podcast episodes when I'm able to video the interviews. And so I'm hoping to be able to expand the YouTube channel as well. George says episode 27 was the episode with Lenny Clark. Thank you very much, George. I knew it was in the 20s. I just couldn't remember where. Oh, happy birthday, Paola. See, you do celebrate your birthday with Perry Como and George Strait. My 2000th CD was a band called Heaven's Edge. Hardcore. You know what's crazy that I also started thinking about is that the podcast happens every week. And this week is episode 50, which means in 2 weeks, the podcast turns a year old, which is fucking insane that the podcast is going to be a year old. It's just crazy. Our 9th wedding anniversary is tomorrow. Happy anniversary, Drea. That's amazing. Cameo request, tell my ex-wife to go to hell. Oh my God. So not nice. Let's see. So yeah, I think that's about it tonight, guys. There was a lot to celebrate yesterday, a lot of great news coming out of the Commonwealth. And I really wanted to talk to you guys about some of the bonus episodes of the podcast that are coming. Did you break in the glass yet? Which glass are you talking about? The big mug that I got last week? No, I have not broken that one in yet. I'm really, really excited about a lot of the stuff that's happening. And I hope you guys are excited too. And I just really hope that you guys are feeling the optimism and the happiness and kind of the doom cloud of depression that's been over all of us for so long. So I know it's one of the things where I think I don't want to do like year in recap episodes or anything like that. I just want to continue to do really good original episodes. So I think we're just going to, maybe someday when I hit like a big milestone, like, I don't know, the 100th episode, the 500th episode, whatever episode we get to, maybe we'll do some kind of retrospective or whatever. But until then, I just want to keep putting out great original episodes because there's been a lot of great people to talk to. So I want to keep doing it. So there you go, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me every Tuesday night. Welcome to all of the new people. Thank you guys for listening to the radio shows, for streaming them, for telling people about the podcast. The website. The website in the store. I almost forgot. The baby onesies. Now that the COVID restrictions are starting to loosen and the COVID babies are being born. The Made in Lockdown 2020 baby onesies, get them while they last because they're going to be collector's items. So if you haven't ordered them yet, if you know somebody that's having a baby, go to the online store at mistresscarrie.com. Obviously, these are not going to be something that I'm going to make all the time. Once they're gone, they're gone. So definitely get your orders in while you can. That was the other thing I wanted to remember to tell you guys. All right, that's it, guys. Episode 132 of Cocktails in the War Room is in the books. Thank you to Latini Creative Solutions at latinicreative.com for helping with all of the logos and the graphics and everything, not only with the War Room, but the podcast, the website, everything, and for sponsoring Cocktails in the War Room every week. Good night, guys. Episode 50, live at midnight with Jake Underkoffler from Dead Poet Society. And keep your eyes out for a bonus episode this week, too. All right. Good night, guys. I'll let you know how my vaccination goes tomorrow.